Chetan, you can start.
All right. Ego, a word so small, yet the one who possesses it is the greatest in his own tiny world. Because however great you become, you and I, as an individual, has no particular importance in this world. As a famous person once said, you want to know how important you are in this world. Take a bucket of water, put your fist into it, pull it out. The void, the vacuum that you leave there is ancestors of Leaders Are Readers Book Club. I welcome you all to the 55th meeting of this club. Swami Saraswati said, in the human heart, there is place for only one of the two, God and the ego. Now, if you're going to fill your heart with huge, vast, fat ego, then there will be no place for God. He'll wait outside patiently, but won't come inside. Now, let's dig deeper. How can we remove this ego? The answer is knowledge. Well, ignorance is the reason why we choose wrong things in our life. Ignorance. So, if you ask a child, what do you want? Chocolate? He'll definitely go for chocolate. I think mistake. Now, let's dig deeper and define ego at its core. Now, ego is defined yourself. It is where you separate yourself with the entire world. Now, when India won the 2011 World Cup, factually, but didn't we all enjoyed it? Didn't we all celebrated it? Why? Because we felt one with those 11 men. We felt one with the entire team. Let's take another example. Now, there's a lady, and she was telling me once, she lives in Mumbai, and she went to a vacation in US, and they were driving. She and her husband were driving, and the cop asked them to pull over, but her husband panicked. And so the wife asked, "Why did you panic?" You still don't. मैं तो अपना आदमी है ना. So this is what happens when we feel, when there is a feeling of otherness with others. When you feel one with the world, even their achievements will give you the as you have achieved something. Now, I'm not a saint, but we definitely have an expert here. But before that, let me call on the timer for tonight. We have Toastmaster Sonika. Toastmaster Sonika is the tigress of South Delhi Toastmaster, epitome of hard work, a dedicated, responsible, and an awesome human being. And whenever she comes up on stage, she has always set the bar high. Please give it up for Toastmaster Sonika. All right. It's time for what we all are here for. It's time to invite the keynote speaker for tonight. Now, Vasundhra Gupta is an accidental spiritual writer and consciousness coach. Accidental because she always dressed and worked for the corporate job until she realized one day that the universe had other plans for her. Ever since, she has been on a mission to simplify spirituality for the world through her little corner on the internet called My Spiritual Shenanigans. She is also the proud author of two books, Spirit, Animals, and Homecoming. Please give it up, all that you have got for Vasundhara Gupta.
Thank you so much, Chetan. I am super happy to be here. This is my third time, and everybody is always super welcoming and loving. You started off with such a brilliant introduction to the ego mind, and I feel a little bit on the weaker edge because I had come with a very simple presentation with a very simple angle. So brilliant and very nicely done. Before I dig into what I call the ego mind, I would love to question all of you as an icebreaker, and you can use the chat. What do you think the ego is? What is your definition of the ego? I'd love to know.
Inflated eye.
Me, myself. Great answer, Sudeep.
My priority first.
My devil. Okay, great, Dalbu. What else? What else is the ego?
I'm the best. I know everything.
Okay. When we feel we are right and other is wrong, it's all me. It's a hidden personality. Such great evolved answers. Sense of false self-image. Wow, great. Are you all noticing a trend here? And perhaps that's how we've looked at it, something that stops you from learning. The ego has a negative connotation to it. Even the word ego makes us think, oh, that's bad. We want to run away from it. There's a book called Ego is the Enemy. Now, again, this is not against that book or even against this idea that the ego is bad. But saying that the ego is bad is also part of the ego. Because the ego is the one that lives in duality. It's the one that says something is right and something is wrong. It is the separation. And when we separate from ourselves, it looks like, oh, I'm a bad person because I just complimented myself. I just realized that I am good at this. Oh, I'm so arrogant. Or it can look like this person is beneath me. Therefore, I am better. Ego thrives in duality. So it's always like one person is better, the other must be little, must be worse, right? And when we see this shift going on, we realize the ego is at play. But if we could look at the ego as a very simple thing, it is our ability to be an individual in this entire pool of people. If we did not have an ego, what would it look like? Anybody could walk over us. We would always be at service. That would be a good thing, but we wouldn't be there. Who would take care of me if I didn't know I was here? Right? Do you notice people that are not mentally present? They have mental conditions because of which they're not present here. And they need care. They need attention. Somebody else has to look after them. So I'm not saying that when we are mentally conditioned, our ego mind doesn't work, but it is just to say that the ego is our sense of self. And sometimes it gets inflated. and sometimes it actually falls down, which we say is lack of self-esteem, right? So today's purpose is called befriending the ego mind, not erasing the ego mind. It has a deeper purpose for us. And that is the basis of my presentation today for you all. Thank you, Prachi, for validating that. I was supposed to share a deck, but now I'm just feeling called to talk to you in person myself. So I will be using that as a reference as I speak along the way, but I won't necessarily share the deck with you all. Let's talk about the evolution of our ego mind. I consider this to have happened because of the years of conditioning. Conditioning means if as a kid, you were taught that this is bad, it's bad to cry, it's bad to be angry, then that is your conditioning. You've taken that on, and that is your lens through which you're looking at life. So your ego runs away from crying. Your ego runs away from anger. It suppresses it, right? Similarly, when we consider the ego mind as conditioned, it can be like, okay, if I do something good, I'll be rewarded. All the patterns, all the thoughts, all the behaviors that we pick up are our conditioning. And when this continues to happen over many, many years, we call it the ego mind. It helps us decipher, okay, this is good, this is bad. It helps us have a judgment over life. Okay, this is safe for me. I should get in the car and wear a belt. I shouldn't drive over 80 kilometers an hour. It's not safe for me. That is also the ego. The one that has this judgment, the one that has this discernment. The challenge comes when this ego mind starts going crazy. So I like to look at it as an elder sibling, a brother or a sister who loses track of time and doesn't let us evolve and is always there like, don't do this, don't do that. They're always sitting on our head. It's as if disaster management is happening at every single moment in your life, and the elder brother and sibling don't know when to stop, right? So the ego mind becomes a problem when we stop looking at life for the way it is, and we are constantly living in this duality, okay? If you could look at your ego as your elder brother and your elder sister that just doesn't know when to be quiet and just doesn't know when to let you go, what is one example where you see this elder brother, elder sibling stepping in your life and always pushing you away? Where do you feel limited because of your ego mind? I'd love to know. You can either use the chat or, okay, Visha says not taking risks. Yes, bang on. What else? Where else? Low self-esteem, absolutely. Where else have you guys noticed that the ego mind gets in your way? It doesn't let you be on your own, restricts you from being yourself even when you're at home and are otherwise expected to be carefree. Wow, yes. It's that elder brother, inner critic, some people call it, that just keeps bugging you, right? I love that. Living a life of fear, not capable of doing anything. Brilliant answers. When the ego, when this brother starts talking to us, it can almost feel like it doesn't care about us. But do we ever stop and think, why are we listening to the ego mind if it's such a bad thing? Why are we so identified with these thoughts if they're so bad for us? This is where the unconscious part of our conditioning comes. We have been believing all of these things because they serve a purpose. So for instance, if I know that if I sit with my feet apart and I sit like a crazy person, I sit like a child, I would not look decent. And if I would not look decent, nobody would like me. My deeper desire is to be liked. Therefore, I'm always sitting uptight with a very nice posture whenever somebody comes home. My deeper desire is to be liked, but the way I'm doing it is perhaps not the best way to do it. Does that make sense? Or should I give another example? We have ego that says, don't be friends with this person because they are going to hurt you. this person is stupid. So the ego mind starts rationalizing and it says, okay, this person has a bad attitude, they drink, they smoke, n number of reasons. The ego mind gives you this entire list of why you shouldn't be friends, right? Deeper desire. What is my deeper desire here? I just don't want to get hurt. I don't want to be around people that are hurting me. Therefore, I'm going to cut people out of my life. And in the WhatsApp group, I had given this question for all of us to reflect on, right? What was our deeper desire when we were doing this action, which apparently felt like it was coming from the ego and it was such a bad thing to do? Why were we arguing with our boss? Why are we arguing with our spouse? There's a deeper desire. And some of you were bang on, you knew it was the ego mind at action, but some of us were not very sure. What was the purpose? Why was I doing this, right? So I would like to actually keep that as a reflection question. I will be taking us deeper into that. But first, I would love to do a little bit of reading together. So if anybody would like to volunteer and read a little bit from my book. Abu, we'd love to do that. Great. I'm going to share my screen. So this is basically a chapter called Ego is Not the Enemy. And I hope everybody can see. Abu, so this is going to be 3 slides. Please go ahead and start reading.
Sure. Back in the day, I spent a lot of time reading and then preaching what I knew about spirituality. It might not have come across as egoistic if I would ask some of those people about it. But today, I do see the naivety with which I spoke. In my head, it used to come from a place of being better than the rest, since I knew more about spirituality than they did. And over the years, many people have displayed the same inflated ego to me. It's a part of the process. Truth be told, the ego mind thrives in this comparison, in this constant judgmental way of thinking. It doesn't know what the whole fuss is about, trusting the process or in unconditional love, because it has so many layers of judgments and projection that it's unable to think or see otherwise. So while a person's intention would be to help the others around see a more spiritual way of living, on the outside, the ego mind can play tricks and make us believe that there is no hope, that those people are young souls and they won't get it. Honestly, the ego is sneaky. Even those with the best intentions get sucked in. But what is the purpose of this ego mind, if not to delude us? It acts as a layer between our vulnerable, pure self and the rest of the world. The approach isn't very effective because it intensifies the suppression we feel from the world. But the intention is pure. Let me play out another example of what the ego mind does. Let's assume the same example of the friend who made plans without you. That voice within you that says you are not good enough comes from the ego mind. It can sound critical, but it has a deeper and purer intention underneath the criticism. If you pause and ask yourself what that voice really wants from you, you might hear things like, this voice is protecting me from trusting someone who doesn't want to hang out with me. This voice is telling me to work harder on myself so I can be seen and taken into consideration for more outings. This voice wants me to be a better friend and see if there's something I did to upset the other person, for which they excluded me. And so on, everyone's inner critic, the bullying voice inside, comes from a place of fear and survival-based thinking. But do you see how naive and harmless the voice is otherwise? It's just saying what it thinks is the best for you. It really isn't the enemy, but we haven't figured out how to befriend it either.
Yeah. I hope everybody resonated with that. Yeah. I want to take this deeper and help you actually embody this practice. So what that would look like is a short meditation, if you'd like to join me. Yeah. Okay, great. So inviting everybody to just gently close their eyes, or they can drop their eyelids and look down if that feels more comfortable. And taking a deep breath. And just dropping off any weight on your shoulders. Breathe deeper into your chest and let it go. Take a deep breath into your belly and let any old energy out as you exhale. Relax the muscles of your face. Let any tightness drop. As you slowly begin to breathe in and breathe out, let your mind think of a time where you felt like you were right or you knew better than somebody else. Think of that person, that exact situation where you were at that time. What time of day it was. When you were having the disagreement, notice how it affected your relationship with them. Now ask yourself, you did this because there was a deeper purpose. What were you trying to achieve? How was this way of thinking helping you? When your ego mind came forward to protect you, what was it protecting you from? Notice how innocent your desire for protection is. There's nothing wrong with that, actually. Maybe the approach was not right. So can you think of a different way to protect yourself without this judgment against the other person? Whatever thoughts come to mind, whatever ideas come to mind, ask yourself it's okay to try them. The next time the ego comes forward to protect you, can you try something else instead? Take a deep breath. Whatever your truth may be, just allow yourself to integrate this new knowledge and come back to this moment with your eyes open and a nice smile on your face. I'd love to know in the chat if somebody had a realization of what their deeper desire was. What was the ego mind protecting them from? not to get hurt, from being mistaken. I wanted to be heard. I wanted inner peace. I didn't want to be judged. I wanted to be loved, accepted. How beautiful is that? The ego mind has been simply there all this time to help us achieve these things. Maybe the method that we've been applying has been wrong. And you can use this tool across the board for any context, any situation where you feel, I didn't do the right thing. Maybe I should have done this differently. Now you know why you're doing it. Because underneath, the intention is very innocent, very pure. Great. I'm going to open the floor. We have a couple of minutes, right, Sonika, for questions. We have 4 minutes. So we'll do that. If anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. And I think I'll let Abu pick if you want to raise your hands and maybe you call them out. Any questions?
Vasundhra, I have a question.
Okay.
But again, it's a little off track, but regarding this, how to identify the difference between self-respect and ego?
I love that. When they're just two different, they're two words, but the ego is not just self-respect. So what is self-respect? Wanting to preserve our respect, which is another angle of the ego, right? So that is one of the reasons why the ego is protecting us, because it felt like it wasn't being respected. Right? It's just one angle of the ego. There's no difference as such. It's just one way it shows itself. So it's just another label for the ego, but in a good way. Cool. Any other questions?
Okay.
Please, Sonika, go first.
Yeah, so my question is, I do not find the solution here. I mean, if I'm having some negative conversation, I'm trying to, I'm trying to explain something, but the person, the person has its own perspective or the bubble, and he's not able to think beyond that. So I want to, so how would I, what's the solution? How I can convince him or explain him?
So what I read this here, you're trying to not be mistaken, not being misunderstood. Right?
Yeah.
How do you think you're being misunderstood here?
Because people have their own lens when they think they have good knowledge at something, and then they think then that the other person, for example, I'm not able to understand or at their level, so they won't be listening me or try to understand me that much. At that point of time, they may mistaken me.
Right. So you want to be heard as well.
Heard and understand, yeah.
And heard and understood. So the approach that you're using right now, is that working for you?
No.
It's not. What are you doing? Do you mind sharing? Do you shout? Do you yell at them? Do you get angry?
No, I just, maybe I just stop myself.
You stop yourself. You stop talking?
Not talking, maybe the atmosphere gets, little negative. So I'll prefer to wait and then talk about it later when the mind gets fresh, and maybe something else I can get in my mind, that how I can explain or how I can make it more understand.
You want to be seen and heard, but you stop talking. Do you notice the contrast here?
Yeah.
What would happen if you continued talking? Would you become annoyed? What would happen?
Maybe the conversation gets, very, maybe the atmosphere gets very negative if I continue, I think.
Have you tried that?
I'm actually trying to find the solution, but I'm not able to.
This would be a coaching opportunity, but I want to be cognizant of our time as well. Think of it as, what do I want which is to be seen and to be understood. That is my deeper desire. Is what I'm doing right now working? No, it's not, because I go quiet. If I did not go quiet, what else could I do? Right? So, yeah. Sonika, you're trying to multitask here. I know. So I'll try to wrap this up. This is my cue to go. I'm going to invite our book reviewer, Abhishek. Please take the floor and share your review for the book.
Thank you. So my book name is Six Thinking Hat, and this book is written by Edward de Bono, and he is very pioneer in the concept of lateral thinking, and he is very renowned philosopher and writer. He has written almost 60 books in 40 languages, and people admire him in various ways, especially in a thinking like how to think better way. So before the book review, I just want a few questions from you guys. Are you guys tired with the unproductive business meetings, or you feel your meetings are not, it's just a wastage of time, or not giving proper result, whatever you spend in the meeting? I usually feel like that. That's why I'm asking this question from you guys. So this is the similar thinking you have, like unprotected business meeting. Okay. So yeah, so I got few responses. So this book is mostly related to how you can make your meetings productive, how you can get maximum out of that meeting, and all these six different part is they represented is like a different color of hats, and it's actually metaphor for thinking. So there is no any such hat available, but just to understand this book, writer divided into six parts. So first is white hat. So white hat is it's actually white hat is talk about facts and figure. When you start your meeting and when you are during the meeting, just think on the facts and figures or data. Don't conclude or don't jump, don't mix your impression or emotion with the data. Just focus only on fact, figure, or part, and try to collect all those information, and later you can analyze these information in a better way. So you can focus on different questions like what information do we have here, what informations are missing, and what information would like to have, what is needed, what is not needed, is this relevant to me, or these are the irrelevant things, and what are the most important things. So this kind of data you can collect. This type of questions will help you to collect those data. Second thinking hat is yellow hat. Yellow hat is represent brightness and optimism, and it's explore the positivity of the person or the environment. So don't just in this section, don't just focus on collecting of data. Just focus on what is good part of this conversation or meeting or the environment. You can focus on different questions like what are the benefit of this option, what are the different kind of proposals, how we can work to make it successful, what are the good points, what are the benefits. So you can focus on positive aspect of the conversation. So third hat is called black hat, and it is actually represent caution and critical thinking. So you don't overuse this, but this is also very important hat, and judgment. It will help you to get judgment and evaluation. Wearing a black hat is very necessary because you also need to critically understand the every concept or conversation. So just try to check the negative aspect of that. Like you can ask this type of question: is this true? Will it work or not? What are the different weaknesses, and what is the wrong with it? So this type of question will help you to understand those concepts. Fifth, next hat is red hat. So red hat convey the intuition, feelings, emotions. So here you don't need to think about data or factfulness or other things. Just focus on your emotion, feelings, and it will help you to understand many things about that situation or conversation. You can ask this type of question. How do I feel about the right? Or it's say like, what is your gut feeling is saying? What are the things you feel it's good? So this type of questions you can mention. Your fifth hat will be green hat, and green hat actually focus on creating new ideas, how different kind of possibilities, alternatives, new ideas, creativity. So here you can see the entire aspect, like entire thing in a different aspect, and try to re-evaluate things. You can jot down few things, maybe few questions will helpful here. Are there any idea? Are there any other ideas are here? Are there any additional alternatives? Or can we do something else? Or is there any different way of doing things? So these kind of questions will help you to understand. Last hat is blue hat, and blue hat will tell actually it's a process management. So whatever hat you are using during your conversation or meeting, you can like control with the help of blue hat. You can sequence your thinking. You can understand like, have you used your all the hats or not? So this this will help you. It's a kind of process improvement. So here we need to understand 6 hat is not say categories of people. It's just a thinking, how you apply different kind of thinking during your conversation to get the maximize use of your meeting time, or maybe utilize your conversation. And you can use this kind of thinking you can use anywhere. You can use at personal field, IT, finance, management, sales and marketing, anywhere. Just try to implement this, and you will find there is a lot of improvement. There is a lot of result on oriented conversation you will get after the meeting, because here it's the opportunity to fine tune your conversation or your idea in a different parameters or different way of thinking. You can equally implement all your thinking, judge your conversation on basis of different kind of thinkings, and get the desired result. So this is like Edward Bruno written so many books, but I think this is one of the his like renowned book, and I would like to recommend this book to everyone. Just read it once, and you will come to know new way of thinking. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you so much for summarizing the book in such a short span of time. And I'm sure all the corporate employees present here would take home some points and definitely implement it. Now it's time for discussion, and I would like to call back the keynote speaker for tonight, Vasundhra Gupta, back on the stage. Stage is all yours, Vasundhra.
Thank you, Chetan. So I love that book description. I might check the book out. It sounds very interesting. The activity that I have in store is related to the ego mind. So for the Indian viewers, whoever has seen the movie Pyar Ka Panchnama, in which that character Rajat goes into a rant and he starts speaking his mind for like 5 minutes, and we all think it's a classic scene, right? Or if people have not seen that movie, but they know about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that story, right? Where there's somebody who's very genuine and very sincere, and then he flips his personality into this crazy person. Our ego mind is like that. We seem like something else on the outside, and then the moment something bad happens to us, inside there's like this Hyde, or there's this Rajat going on that's speaking all these things. What does he think of himself? How did he say that to me? What's going on? This is the activity. And I would like to invite some volunteers. And yes, there's a goodie at the end for whoever participates, as well as one goodie for the winner. So let's keep track of the people who are participating. Your task is to use 60 seconds to just voice that ego. So you can use that meditation that you did. What was coming in your mind? 60 seconds, just let the ego speak out loud. Be as exaggerated as you feel like, right? And I'll tell you in the end what was the purpose of this activity. But I see Abu's name volunteering. So Abu, go ahead. You start it off for us. 60 seconds.
I have to just rant about anything.
About anything. It could be that particular scenario in that meditation that you did. Who was that one person? Yeah.
Okay. I will just generally rant about, whatever thoughts they come into my mind. I am really, watching this world from a multiple perspective. So I was reading this book. It was raining heavily. All of a sudden, there's this cat does that meow, meow. I go and I check this particular cat and I say, hi. And I cannot see anything. And the cat replies, hi. And I'm like, oh my God, cat, you can speak? And the cat is like, yes, why can't you have that talking Tom? Why can't I speak? Why is it that you guys get everything? No, please don't get offended, cat. It's not that, I wasn't aware that cats, they can speak. Yes, we can speak. The only thing that you know that we can speak is meow. That's not correct. We can speak in 99 different level languages. I said, wow, that's amazing. Says that's the problem with you. But what are you doing in my kitchen? Now, this is another problem with you humans. This is my original place. You came and you are living in my place. And now you are saying that why is it that I'm in your kitchen? I said, okay, I'm sorry. Let me do something. Let me offer you milk and fish. Now, this is another problem. You guys are assuming that I eat non-veg. I don't eat non-veg. I'm a vegetarian cat. I have never come across a vegetarian cat. That's the reason you are so obsessed about your life, everything that you think about humans, that you never get time to understand. Although we come from a cat family, but we are vegetarians. And that's how it is. Over to you, Vasundhra.
I love that. Brilliant, brilliant. I won't be able to apply the tool here, but I'll tell you later why it works. Who else next? Somit, go ahead. The stage is yours.
Okay, it is now 8 o'clock. Now there is this thing happening, KKR versus MI match. This is very important match. We have won only 5 times in this, so many encounters. Jeetna zaruri hai. So, but then there is this session from Vasundhara. So should I attend that or should I watch the match? Kya karna chahiye? So what I did was I split my screen, but I muted the KKR match, but I was listening to Vasundhara. So ye ho raha hai. But then I noticed there is an unsolved paper right next to me. अभी just शुरू किया मैंने, I have solved only 10 questions, so बहुत सारे questions solve करना है. So I guess I need to do that. And I don't know, Bajipa has been bowling and he has bowled only 2 overs. I'm expecting him to bowl so many overs to take the wickets, but that's not happening. But Vasundhara here is asking a fun questions with the goodies and then active participation. So what's happening? I don't know what to do, but then let me take this some time and answer the Vasundhara question so that I might get a goodie.
Amazing. Thank you for the honesty, Somit. I'm so glad you're here. All right, we're going to move to Sonika. Your turn next.
Okay, I need to time myself as well. Can you explain the question? Actually, I'm just indulgent.
Yeah, you can, for 60 seconds, go ahead and talk about anything. You can rant, right? And if you want to use that particular situation which pissed you off in that relationship, you can do that as well. What does he think of himself? How dare he say that to me? Whatever you want to say.
Okay. Okay, well, it is not related to that. These things, what is going in my mind is my career, because the work I'm doing right now, I'm not so happy with it, and I can't change my job these days because of this pandemic, and I may not get a good job, and there are a lot of things that is stopping me to start what I want to start. Maybe some financial issues, as well as I want to pursue some courses, but not able to do that. Apart from that, I want to, I'm also reading self-help books these days so that I can become a better person, so that I can think about, I can get that direction that I want to do in my life. And maybe these books may help me to get my goal, what I really want to do in my life. So I'm looking for that direction. I'm looking for that thing that is made for me, that I'm made for. That's it. Over to you.
Great attempt. A very healthy mind, actually. Next, Shefali.
Hi.
Hey, Shefali, go ahead. The stage is yours.
Yeah, can you please repeat once again? I was a bit.
Yeah. So whatever your problem may be, you can exaggerate it. So remember, we think unfiltered thoughts. Let that unfiltered thoughts, just speak them out loud for 60 seconds.
Okay, so unfiltered thoughts. Actually, I would say that sometimes there are so many thoughts racing in our mind, be it be it in the professional area or in your personal life, in your relations with your friends, with your family, So I think most of the time the mind is a chaos. The thoughts are running at the speed of light. So I have to manage so many things. I have to manage my career. I have to manage my writing. I have to manage my relation with my family so that they are not. It's not like they are not pleased with me over something. I have to talk to my friends, listen to them, listen to their things. I many times have to I blurt out whatever I feel. Then I have to then there are so many things like I have to like if you see in your as in there are so many things how to vent out. Like sometimes you have to just distract your mind, and I do that by writing or reading books or going out or talking to my friends. But there are so many things and there are no answers to anything. Like sometimes it's just out of control, because many times, especially in the COVID scenario, like if I am jobless, I'm sitting at home and it gets so frustrating. I'm sitting at home and doing nothing, but then I have to divert my mind and I have to do, like, I think there are so many things that go on in the mind and you get distracted and frustrated, but life goes on and things are not in your control, and you just have to be positive that things will get better in the future. I think that is I spoke whatever was going on in my mind.
Great, great, Shefali. I love it. All right.
Thank
I'm not
you.
sure how much time we have, but I'd love to take on one more. Let's do Prachi next.
Okay, hi everyone. So I was thinking that maybe I would be the fourth person, but then Abu took Shefali up, and I got a step down, so I couldn't make up there also. And then what all I was planning to say, so Sonika had stolen all my content, so now my content is also stolen. I don't know what all to say. My professional life is a mess, and I really have to do a lot of things. I'm hungry, but the session is at this moment, so my dinner is getting postponed. I had to draw a lot. I was planning to draw and read and work also at the same time. So I don't really know how to go about it. Oh God, why are there only 24 hours? Why can't God give us 48 hours? That would have been a better option. But I don't know what all should I. And I don't even know what to rant now. So I'm even running out of the rant content. So I don't know what to do with my life anymore.
Oh, so sorry, Prachi. This is so brilliant. Well said. We'll do Paramjot. I think we have time for two more people. So we'll do Paramjot and we'll do Jatin, and then I'll conclude.
Okay, so every Tuesday we have this book club, and when we started book club, I thought I will start reading a lot of books which are specifically the self-help books, but now they are shelf-help books because they are on my shelf. I'm not reading very much books, but I'm trying to read or listen a book summary every day. While listening to the summary, I'm trying to apply every insight which I'm listening or reading to apply in my life, whether the book is related to me or not. Sometimes I read books which are written by American authors, and then I thought that okay, that's true in their country, but in my country people will not going to implement the same strategy when I go, and I have tried some strategies here in this country. And yeah, I am trying to be professional with people sometimes, but people trying to know my personal life very much when I am trying to be very professional. And when I try to be with them, they just want me just be professional with us. So in this dilemma, I'm trying to get more to know about me. That was it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Param. And our last participant. Please go ahead, Jatin.
Okay, so my rant is completely based on should we help people or friends or should we not? Because if we are going to help him, or if I'm available for him, am I losing my value in front of him? Am I like free of time? Do I have so much time, or am I just a person with whom to whom you can call anytime, anywhere, and he will be available for you? Am I losing my value, or like what he will be thinking? Like, is like he is a kind of guy who is always free, and so that depends. Should I pick up his call or not? Should I hang him dry in somewhere, or like to like
So these kind of things. Should I call him on his birthday to wish him, or should I wish him happy Diwali or not? Because you have some kind of friends like to whom you just only talk on birthdays or on Diwalis. So why should I call first? He can also call me. Like then he will say like तू तो बड़ा हो गया यार, तेरे पास तो बहुत time ही नहीं है. So I can enjoy that perks also, but then he will say तुम तो कभी call ही नहीं करते. So then it was another thing. Should I guess that was it. Thank you so much.
I only gave us 60 seconds because, and this is just me telling you why this tool works. It's not just that we have a pity party, but give yourself just 60 seconds every day to pity yourself. Let all of this, we call it bhasad in Hindi, all of this junk in your mind, let it come out for 60 seconds. Because when you listen to this and you let your mind really exaggerate it, it goes away. You're able to identify the thoughts which are sensible and let go of the thoughts which have no meaning. Right? So it's a very simple practice, but a very fun one. And you can say it out loud. When you listen to your mind in your head, you don't really realize what you're saying. When you speak it out loud, you realize, what nonsense is this? And also sometimes there's valuable insight that comes out of from the rant. So keep that up. Could we have a polling activity, please, Ritika? So for all the participants, let's just vote. Whoever was the best ranter, and we'll give them a special prize.
We're left with 4 more votes.
By the way, Vasundhra, it was very great idea. Like we can actually start a club, like rant on Wednesdays, and everybody will join the meeting and rant.
Just vent for 60 seconds, no more than that.
Yeah.
So do we have the polling results?
We are still left with 4 people.
Okay, great.
Can I request those 4 people to please vote? I've ended the poll.
Okay. Can we move into sharing the results? I can do that. I don't know the answers though, so could somebody tell me?
And write it on the chat.
All right. Okay, so it looks like the poor cat has won. Us humans lost to the poor cat. Is that right? Right, Ritika? Abu, right?
Yes,
Abu,
yes.
You are the winner. So I would like to gift you my book, Homecoming, because it has a lot more insights on how to work with the ego mind. And I hope you enjoy that. For everybody who participated, as a gift to you, I'm giving you my workbook. It is working with the ego mind. So there's 30 questions that you can take on. They're journaling prompts with lots of insights. So everybody gets that. I also want to talk about the winner for the activity we did on WhatsApp. I loved your vulnerability. Thank you all for sharing. Prachi, you still win. You get something. Us humans also get something, not just the cat. Sorry, I got distracted. On WhatsApp, we all participated, and thank you all for being so vulnerable. I had to call in the universe and say, universe, you pick the winner. So there's this very cool tool where you put in the names and there's a wheel that spins. I used that wheel to find the answer. Sanat, you are the winner. I would love to do a 60-minute laser coaching call with you and help you work with your ego mind. So congratulations to all the winners. And I would like to lovingly invite our next keynote speaker for next Tuesday. His name is Unmesh Mohitkar, and I'm going to offer the stage to him.
Hey, hi everyone. This is Unmesh. How are you? So yes, so I'm a poet. And I have written a book, Light Shadow Life, which is available on Amazon. And I am a spoken word artist as well. So I participate in a lot of slams. And yeah, so I love poetry. And the subject of next keynote is poetry. Of course, a poet is going to speak on poetry, but it is poetry in emotion, commotion, and devotion. Poetry is everywhere. If even if you don't speak, there is poetry. If you speak, there is poetry. Running water is poetry. Calm, silence is poetry. Poetry is everywhere. Now, it can be used in various ways. There were a lot of poets. सरफरोशी की तमन्ना अब हमारे दिल में है, देखना है दम कितना बाजू है कातिल में. There were a lot of poets who inspired our revolutionaries for the freedom struggle, not only in India but all over the world. So we will dig deeper into poetry. We will try to understand how it's going to help us, not only in love and breakups, but in the times of crisis, in the times of COVID, pandemic, isolation, lockdowns. I think poetry is a great learning experience for you. When you write your poetry, you are in a way ranting. In a way, you are ranting. You are ranting your heart. You are ranting your mind. You are telling, because, for example, death. In normal life, you can't talk about death, but in poetry, you can daily die. Right? So daily die, you can break your heart. In fact, sometimes you can say that somebody got killed. Correct? So it gives you a lot of freedom. And I think this is something which we need to understand, because what has happened is, over a period of time, poetry has become notorious. Whenever you try to recite a poem, said, "Abhe mat na yaar, poetry, poem nahi yaar, poem nahi yaar." There used to be a time in India where people used to listen to poetry throughout the night. Harivansh Rai Bachchan. Even in Pune, there were a lot of poets. They used to sit, and throughout the night they used to recite poems, and they used to get nothing, no money at all. Still, just for sake of poetry, just for the sake of forgetting everything and to experience new thing, they took poetry as a passion. So I think that is very, very important. So let's meet on next Tuesday to talk about poetry in emotion, commotion, and devotion. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And a special thanks to Abu for letting me know, asking me to come here. Thank you very much. And thanks everyone. You guys rock. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Unmesh. And we are very, very excited for that emotion, commotion, and devotion session next week. So can we have a huge round of applause for all of us if you think the session was great today? Thank you so much, Vasundhra. Yay! Now we heard the sound. Thank you so much, Vasundhra, for being the keynote speaker. And yes, people really loved your session, and especially that ranting session. The audience was engaged. It was full of insights, and there are a lot of things that we can take from this session today. Thank you so much. And yes, thanks to our anchor of the day, Chetan, and our book reviewer, Abhishek. Thank you so much. And I can't miss to say the thanks to Ritika, who is the tech master, and Jatin, who is the PR manager who creates the poster. Thank you so much, all of you. And yeah, we are running out of time, so I would like to everyone to come on camera. And yeah, I would like to ask Abu the signature pose today, because he's the winner. And I would request everyone to do that signature pose and have a smile on your face and take a picture and create the memory. Yeah, Somit, Tina, Prachi, Drusha, Sanat, one. Yay, Abu's poses. Okay.
Can you please describe that? What is that? It's
Dab.
neither a dab.
It's a dab.
Can you do the X-Men? Can you do the X-Men?
Local dab. Local.
Okay, let me take. Done.
Thank you so much, Ritika, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And yes, we are eagerly waiting now for the next week. So thank you so much, everyone, and bye-bye. Have a
Thank you,
dinner
everyone. Bye.
and
Good
night.
night. Take care. Bye bye.